So this is called Between the Words. The leg that had fallen asleep suddenly awoke, attacked them with pins, with needles. Ow, ow, and ow, he shouted at himself, shaking a leg. He felt like a bad Xerox copy of himself. The typewriter glowered at him. He glared right back. Do your worst, it smirked. The men who mile for gold. The old Robert Service line resurfaced. Mile, ha ha ha, how true. His measly one-fingered typing trying to keep up with his mind, falling behind. The typewriter trying to find his train of thought, the clickety-clack of words. Man morphing into machine, both one and the same, only the next word counts. Thinking and not thinking, the mind in free fall, the words pumped up. Loving the return of courage, the next line springing into being. Coraggio, coraggio, his mind admonishes him. Andiamo, he exhorts his words. On a roll now, one part of him writing, the other singing the runaway train. Archie blue, 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 woo, woo! Uh-oh, the ribbon of his mind wearing thin. Words now in red, and now in nothing. The words appearing like their own ghost, a mere impression. I've written that ghostly, that's fine. Don't leave me this way. His mind sings to them. I don't understand how I'm at your command. The E key raises its angry little fist. Stuck again. Typewriter quiet now. Weeds of silence grown up between the words. Thank you. I was never one for Norse mythology, but sometimes it does crash into me at the intersection of life and death. Odin is the one-eyed god, as you might know. Anybody know the name of his two ravens that come and sit on his shoulder?
Memory and thought.
Yeah, memory and thought, or Hugin and Muin. So I think that's so. Ymir is the god that they make, they cut up and make the world out of. I think that's all you need to know. Yep, that's all you need to know. This is called What the Clouds Are Thinking. Hugin! Munin! We call our dogs and they come running. Black as ravens, faster than thought and memory. Excited to tell me of all the many smells they have encountered. What it is like to just run for no other purpose than the running. They see the world through smell and speed, delight in just being, outrunning the wind. The sudden scratch of a bramble across an eye is a happenstance that sees me wearing a black eye patch with a diamante twinkling. I see the world better with my one eye. The other was too lazy. Yeah, it's the world, so what? Lazy eye, easily bored with perceiving, looking but not seeing. The dogs see me as the reincarnation of Odin. The land is lost in mist and myth, the mist devouring a man with every footstep, the world erased. Yet I outpace it, gazed once again upon a moon madly in love with its own reflection. Look up into the sky, the inside of a skull that once belonged to the great giant Ymir, whose death made all life possible. Odin and Vili and Vi make soil from his flesh. Bones become mountains, blood becoming seas. See the clouds, I tell my little girl, already far more ancient than I. They were once Ymir's brains. She accepts all this with great aplomb. I wonder, she ponders, I wonder what the clouds are thinking. Thank you. Keeping on with the Norse mythology lark, Loki, the jester god, is having it off with one of the frost giants, and he has 3 illegitimate children, and Odin cops onto this, and they bring the 3 illegitimate children back to Asgard, and that's going to be the downfall of the gods, because they're going to be grown up and they're going to be bad guys altogether. So one is a girl called Hel, who's very fair of face this side, and the other side is a rotten corpse face. The other one is the big giant serpent that's going to engulf the world. And the other one is Frenner, which is a wolf boy who grows and grows and grows, and he's the size of a bear the next day, then he's bigger than that. And the gods fear him, and his strength and his power. He's just getting more powerful, more bigger every day. So the gods try to trick him and say, hey, Frenner, get into these chains. Let's see you get out of them. And Frenner goes like that, and he goes, tap. So they go and make better chains. Hey, Frenner, oh, you're going to be really good if you get out. And Frenner gets out of that. So they go to the dwarfs up north and say, look, can you make us a chain that just can't be broken? And the dwarfs make a chain that can't be broken. And it's a silken chain. It's a transparent sort of rainbow thing, but it's really powerful altogether. What it's made of is going to come in the poem. And I was reading this and I was laughing. And my dad said, what are you laughing at? So I told them what the poem was about. And when he was dying, I was trying to also forge a link of words and love that would bind me to him. But I forgot the two last magic ingredients, so it didn't work. This is called a silken chain. The wolf they call death has taken you to its lair in the far, far away of long, long ago, like those Norse craftsmen from the nowhere of time. I am called upon to fashion a silken chain to bind you to me. I am willing to let you go. I search for the firstly, secondly, and thirdly, the fourthly and fifthly and the sixthly and lastly, not knowing the what and wherefore of it all. I find the footsteps of a cat, the breath of a chicken, the spittle of a bird, the roots of a mountain. Unable now to think of the last two, so death holds you, but so do I. You were tied to us both, the silken chain of love and memory. Thank you. For those of you interested, the last two pieces of the charm were the beard of a woman and the sinews of a bear. And I only remember the ones that were odd, like the spittle of a bird and the roots of a mountain. So that's why it didn't work. I don't know if any of you have a favourite poem of your own. This is my favourite Dónall Dempsey poem. It's called Jerry Sweeney's Mammy. It shows my meagre grasp of the facts of life, that I didn't know what the birds and bees were about, because I thought that, at that age, I thought that a chap could have 3 mammies. That's how a dumb kid. It took me ages there. But what I thought made a mammy was somebody who loved to that degree, that fully. I thought that's what a mammy was. So I had my own lovely mother, Rita. I had Lizzie, Sweeney, my best friend's mother up the road, and I had my Auntie Mary. So that's what I thought made a mammy. The Curragh, of course, is famous for me. Joke. It's a joke. For God's sake, Mike. I can see him taking me seriously. But, oh my joke. And of course, it's famous for its mammies as well. Particularly the early 60s when we had mammies like this. So this is called Jerry Sweeney's Mammy. I like it because it conjures her up for me and my friend, and it's just bringing all that love into one place and being able to hold it again. Jerry Sweeney's Mammy. Mrs. Sweeney was Jerry Sweeney's mammy. And even though I had my own, I had her alone. It was like having a second mammy. And even when she was mad with us, she just couldn't be mad with us. Go on, she'd grin, go on. You'd wear the heart out of a stone. And if you fell and you were crying, heart and knee badly grazed, or badly bitten by a bee, she would hug you up with all herself, fill you up with so much love, it would last for years. For years. Jerry Sweeney is my best friend ever. Way back in the way back then. Still is. Nothing's changed. Except that as young fellas have become old fellas who still think they're young fellas. And every time I see him, I could almost cry. I can still see his mammy smiling out of his eyes. Thank you. Yeah.